Alright. Hello and welcome. It's been a while since I've been streaming, but it's good to be back. Today I'll be working on the Emacs integration for PureScript's, so the Emacs plugin essentially. Justin Wu did send a PR. Wait, just need to check that looked fine. Okay, that looks good. So Justin Wu sent a PR, which adds like a rudimentary support for a PSC package to the Emacs plugin, but does need a little more work. Some of the configuration options don't make any sense if we like integrate that work. And so the idea is that I'm going to do that. Hopefully it shouldn't take much more than an hour, but we'll see how far we can get. Alright, so this is his PR, and the main addition, or the addition, is this function over here. PSC service start with PSC package sources. That's a little bit of a mouthful. But the idea is that we can use this one instead of the default, which is PSC IDE start server start. I think so, yeah. So server start import start. There it is. Okay, so yeah, this is okay. So this is the function that we've been using basically with this up to this point, and this is supposed to be the new one. I think this does a few weird things. What does this do? It sets the variable for PSC IDE source globs. We probably don't want to do that, but okay. Anyway, and we don't need that one. We don't need that one. Okay. So I've got PSC. Okay, so what do we get started? So what do we do first? I think we need a project just to try out that this code works. So I'm going to make a new file directory here. It's going to be our PSC ptest or something. Right, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think there's a PSC package in it. Or maybe we can use pull PSC package init. I think that's supposed to work. Okay. Okay, so we need to use the proper package setter library. Oh, maybe I need to update my pull. I probably do, but not a big deal here. Let's just pick the last one. This one. We're going to open up that project, PSC ptest. That's a PSC package JSON in here. Wait, let's change this to be this. Let's make it depend on prelude and effect instead. Like this. Alright, and then we do a pull build here, and this should work. Does that do? Okay, and so yeah, I'm definitely running an old pull here because that message means that my scaffolding is still used like a pre 0.12 scaffold basically. So I'm just going to change that to say effect. Just going to start the server here really quickly. Okay. So effect, and then this is going to be effect.console. No longer need that part. Don't care about any of that anymore. Okay, that should do that. So let's try this one more time. Effect.console was not found. That sounds like valid failure, so let's change this bit. We want this to be console as well. Okay, so that works. right? And so the problem with this up to the with how this works up to this point is that if I start the server now, like with the usual, like the old method basically, what I get here is, I mean, this compiles stuff fine. I can look for the type of log, but if I try to go to definition, that doesn't work, and that's because it does not pass the right source globs to the server. I should probably open a chat just in case anyone wants to write something. See how I get that. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that out there. I'll just leave this up here. I'll just put this in the background or something. Anyway, okay, so the source globs don't get passed properly, and so I can't go to definition on log. What I can do now is I could use the new command here and say starting here, and this, well, supposedly did what it's supposed to do, but apparently didn't. Okay, so it's sad that it was going to use the right source globs, but it does not work apparently, because it just told me that it was going to read one file, which is the main file essentially. So something did work here. So I don't know what went wrong, but I think we should definitely check this out. So let's just look at what glob is here. Okay. And we're going to kill the server, and we're going to start it again, like this. Okay, so what do we got here? Oops. Happened. Okay, so these are the globs. I mean, this looks fine to me. Error setting PC IDE source globs, void variable globs. That's a weird one. So that didn't work. Okay, so append globs. Append, and then a bunch of sequences. Oh, that's a weird one. Let's do this one. Let's just do a set queue instead, just because I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. So we'll take everything in here and put that in, oops, and put that in here. I'll get rid of this bit. What? So delete in these friends, put it back in here. Get rid of this bit. Okay. So probably want to try that one again, like this. For the record, I'm not an expert Elisp programmer at all, but I do manage. And now we've loaded 48 modules to 48 source files. So now if I get to definition on log, it does actually take me to the definition. Okay, so that's a start, I guess. So this is what we actually want to work with instead here. And I'm guessing we want to set Q locally here, just because we don't want to overwrite the actual defaults that the user might have set. But we'll get to that in a bit. So. Okay, so let's just say that that's that. Let's actually do this instead. Well, let's not mess with that right now. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, so we've got that. That was supposed that works Now we can go to definition on that one. So we've set the proper globs here, and so I think the first thing we'll have to do is this logic over here, which detects whether or not we're looking at a PSC package JSON, and if it fails, what it's going to do is it's going to fall back to this message over here. Right. And so I think, like, if we want to, the idea is that we have a single start command, which is the smart thing by default. And so we're going to have to merge the starting things with bow and starting things with PSC package. So I say we should detect PSC package JSON, we should detect the bow JSON file, and then go from there. So I think what I'm going to do now at first is I'm going to say file exists p, and that's package JSON, that works. And I'm going to do an AND here, because what I want to check is if both of these files exist, then we probably want to tell the user that there's a potential problem here. So they have both a bow JSON and a PSC package JSON. Let's assign it something in their setup is a little weird. So let's just tell them about it. So detected both a PSC package JSON and a valid JSON file. I'm just going to say that for now, and we can just check that that works. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to open up our main file over here. I'm just going to create about a JSON file. It's not going to have anything in it. I'm just going to make an empty object. But what should happen now is, like, if I run the PSC package command, is it should tell me. And I mean, of course, that message is basically gone right away. Okay, so it says detected both a PSC package JSON and about JSON file. Okay, so that's like warning output that we can use at some points. Okay, so now okay, so if file exists, PSC package JSON, and then we're going to do all of this. The idea is that we fall back to bow JSON over here, but that's going to be like another if. So I'm wondering if it's a good idea to like nest these ifs that deep. And I mean, this thing over here, that seems like a weird one. I don't think we want to kill existing servers if you just run the start again. That's like a restart command probably that does that. I'm just gonna take that out, I think. I mean, it might be nice for testing. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just leave it in, but shouldn't have that in there. So maybe let's just make sure I get rid of this. This will be making sure we don't forget. Okay, so what do we do here? If I exist PSC package JSON, I'm actually just going to leave that if around, but I'm going to change this to that and be another if. Is there an else if? Else if? Is that a thing? Else if? Elif? Okay, let's just do more ifs, I guess. So file exists p. I mean, I'm doing these checks redundantly here. I did already check their existence, but I don't think that is expensive to do these checks. So I think that's fine. And okay, so if file exists about JSON, what we're going to do is we don't need to call anything here. So what we're going to do is we actually we should be setting a globs variable or something here. So let's just create a variable. How do we, I think if I do this, I want like a locally scoped function, like variable. Does that really need to be? I'm not sure if I use set key if that ends up being a global variable, which would be a little annoying. I guess I could try. So I'm just going to create a new variable here. So def var, I guess. So I'm just going to say server glob or something. Not a great name. Anyway. So by default, we're going to initialize this with the user's globs, which I think is a PCID source glob or something. So if I evaluate this bit, and now I do print server globs. Okay, so that's the stuff. Okay, yeah, I mean, obviously I just overrode these down here with something weird, which I shouldn't have done, probably. Okay, so we're defining server globs to be equal to this bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to append onto server globs instead of appending onto the global setting. So let's change server globs. I'm not sure if this is just set key. I think it's just set key. Depends on the scope of this thing, but okay. And server globs then. Right. Is there a push method? I'm not going to bother finding that out. Figuring that out. And so, okay, so if file exists pbow JSON, all we're going to do is we're just going to set key server globs. I'm going to figure out what pushing or like appending is in Emacs Lisp. So append server globs, and we're going to use this thing over here. And this is going to be bow underscore component slash PureScript dash star slash source slash slash store.pers. Okay, so this is a bit annoying. It's just how the glob works essentially. We're not going to do this bit. What we're going to do here is we're going to say globs. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly set key PCID source globs. I'm just going to set that to be source star. Okay, so that's how I hope it's going to be. Once I'm done with this, that the user just specifies the globs that they intend on using for their own files, and that we like by default handle all the globs for the dependencies. Right. And so now we just need a second clause here for if the if fails essentially. So this is, I think, interesting indentation here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be that way. Oops. I might have done something wrong here. Yeah, that's a problem. I need to go in here. Yeah, okay, so this is where it's supposed to go. Okay, so message didn't find. So this is probably an error. Couldn't find piece of package. The JSON, all about the JSON files. I mean, ideally, I think at this one we should probably just let them know and say we're just using the globs that you set. Using just user specified globs, I guess. I don't know if that's like a good default or not. We'll see. Okay, so this I could probably, I don't know if this is really necessarily a variable or if we should just inline that. I don't mind it right now. Let's look at it later. Okay, so now we should be good. I can try this on a Bower.json, like on a project with a Bower.json. I can try it in a package with a PC package. Oh, we need to change some things here, right? PC IDE service start impl. Right. We need to change this one so that it accepts the globs. How do you do optional arguments again? No, you just write optional globs in here. And then we need to go to the definition of this one. You know that works. Go to definition. Fixref. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this usually. So what does it do for the globs? It just inlines them. I think, yeah. Over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say globs. Okay. So optional globs. And if we specify globs, what's going to happen is I mean, honestly, we can just not make it optional, I guess. How do I specify a default for an optional thingy? I'm not sure if I'm doing that anywhere. Now I need to find where I just started. Okay, this is over here. Okay, so maybe I can shadow the globs over here. I'm not sure if that works. Let's see if it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to say source globs. I don't need to set anything. I'm just going to do or globs or the PSC IDE source globs. Right. And that means that we're just going to default to use specify once if we don't get past any over here. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to pass these blocks through here. And then that should just be fine. But we need to make sure that it actually use the source globs in here as well. Okay. I think that should be it. I'm just going to try that this still works. So I'm going to I killed the server. I'm just going to try to start it here. And that worked. That does not work. Wrong type argument, list piece, source, pers. Okay, so that doesn't sound great. Where is that error being thrown from? Probably the source globs I tried to set. Globs. Doing something wrong here. Void variable globs. Yeah, that's true. What do I do nil here? Is that actually a list though, or did I just set it to a string? I probably didn't. That probably needs to be a list, and I didn't set it to that. Let's try it again. So set key PCID. I think I have that somewhere down here. Source. Yeah, that's a problem. This needs to be a list, obviously. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, so that loaded 48 modules and 1 source files. But that was the wrong starting. Like that, I just made sure that the old starting command should still work. So now I'm going to start with PC factory sources. And it loaded 48 modules and 1 source file, so that didn't work. Let's figure out why. So we get in here, we set the server globs. Yeah, we should probably specify the argument. So let's try again. Sure. And that's 48 modules and 95 source files. That's a bit suspicious. Grüße an Ben. All right. Okay, so sorry. So that was a 98 source file. That's a bit suspicious. I'm gonna try to just build the thing over here. I think I might have actually read the same file twice. So let's check if that was what happened. And now it's loaded 142 source files. I think I know what's going on. It's probably not clearing this buffer. Where is it? Oh, is it clearing it? What's the stuff that... Oh, it's... Yeah, okay, so it keeps on appending to server globs, when really I wanted to, like, reinitialize it over here. I'm not sure. I probably need to use a let for this thing to go out of scope. I'll try. That's probably the best thing I can do for now. So server globs, I'll initialize that to be source globs. Yes. And then we're going to move all of this in here. And let's re-indent the whole thing. Okay. And so hopefully that works now. That's 48 modules and 48 source files. That sounds great. That's log. Okay, so that works. That's nice. Now to check that this also works for a project which uses Power, which I have luckily. So I can just close this thing. I can go into PCID, the main file here, and we'll use this command over here. Let's see what we get. So that's 380 modules and 358 source files, which might be a bit suspicious. Not entirely sure. Let's see. So let's clear the output. Let's build the whole thing. Stop the server over here. All right, let's try this again. So that's 358 and 358. Okay, so now we're cooking. So that seems to work and fine. Right, that's good. So that's good. That's good. Okay, so this seems like a sensible default. One more thing that I want to do is I want to give the user the abilities to say ignore all of this. I just want to use my globs, but I'm going to need to add that variable first. let's just see what source globs we have over here. So we're gonna have to change these. So I'm gonna put the test in here by default as well. The source glob for your PureScript source files, we're gonna need to be a bit more descriptive than that. Okay, so don't include source globs for dependencies here. That's a bad string, so let's think about it just a little more. By default, the plugin by default globs for dependencies from Bower or PC package will be appended on server start. I'm starting the server. If you want to overwrite this behavior and force just these globs, use PC ID force user globs. Not use, take a look at. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so let's add that variable then. Def custom PC IDE force user globs. By default, that's false. So the group is PC IDE. Type, is there a Boolean type? Yes, there is. So let's use that one. And let's put a little doc string here. When set when set ignore set don't add the force. I'm terrible at prose, really. Documenting stuff is the worst. Force the user of the PCID source globs variable and don't append. The exact usage variable. This by default this false. This here this is about whatever wacky setup you again. Okay. By default, this is false, but it's hits for whatever you said you're running. Okay. Okay, that works for me. Now we just need to make sure that we're actually using that variable. So if that is set, we basically don't want to do any of this. Which makes me think that we probably want to wrap a function here. And that function is this probably becomes the impl function. Let's call it impl though. I think there's an early return. I want to nest things further, really. Let's try to redefine this thing. Really, this is whatever that is. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a function which is like PCIe service starts glob or something. We should make sure that that's a private function. So let's give it the little double thingy over there. That also gets the root as its argument. Need to make sure we pass that down here. Detects when piece package projects and determines the source bounds. Determines, let's say, sensible source bounds. Okay. And that would be this bit, I guess. Okay. So let's just see what we do. So here, so at the end of all of this, I think what we return is just server globs. Oh, but server globs are in this let, so I need to move out the let as well. Yeah, that glob. Oh wait, that's the wrong let. No wait, the let is in here. Right. So one of the things is if we run into this bit, I think what we need to do is we need to just set server globs to be nil. I think that's what we need to do here, because what we want is, if we run into this case over here, actually that's fine. No, in that case we have this. We already set the server globs to be PCIe source globs, so we should be fine, I think. Right, I think so, yeah. We might move this root in here, and then we don't need to pass it down anymore. I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. Doesn't sound like a terrible idea to me, though. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, and now we should be fine to just say do this thing. Right? We have globs. To emphasize this properly. And then this is this thing. That's not what I wanted to happen at all. So what just happened? Damn it. So we start import this thing, and then after 1 second, we do this thing. Doesn't really need the. Do something wrong. Oh yeah, which doesn't really need the globs anymore. I think we should probably just inline this call actually. Doesn't really matter. I think it's clear enough. And now we do this. And then what we can do is unless PCRD force, what did I call it? Force user globs. Right. So yeah, if the user glob is forced, we don't want to run this thing essentially. It seems sensible to me. We should be able to just get rid of this thing. PCIe service starts. We already have this function. Is there anything? Okay, let's make sure we have that doc string in there. Server. Can't type anymore. Server starts. That one. The doc string wasn't horrible, so I'll just leave that in there. But I'm going to override this one to run this function. Right? I think that looks good to me. Didn't change much of it with import. So what are we looking at here? I think this looks alright. We probably need to write something in the README about this. In general, this looks fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to restart Emacs to make sure that I don't have anything left over from this session, essentially. And we're just running with the plugin as someone who install it with this patch applied would see it. And I need to increase the font size, of course, because there's no way you can tell what's going on here. So let's just say 50. Let's get it. Okay. Code PCID. So let's try a ballot project first. I'm just gonna go in here. That already looked like a weird one. Okay, so let's see what. Okay, so something's broken about the file apparently now. Like it doesn't even like explode just because there's like a mismatched bracket somewhere here. So I'm wondering if I can turn on flag check. Okay. Does this now give me an error? Yeah. Okay, so I mean I must have messed something up. So let's find out where. Probably in here. Does this close properly? This closes properly. Does this close properly? Probably doesn't. Yeah, okay, so something's broken here. This one goes all the way down there, and that goes all the way down here, but we really need to do this. Okay, so let's try it again. Let's go into open the main file. And that's 358 modules and 359 source files. I'm assuming there's a test file in here somewhere. Yeah, right. And that's the source file I found, so that's good. That worked. That compiles fine. So that was that. Now let's go into the PSC package file, which was this project, which is this one. I'm going to start the server here as well. Okay, and that worked again. Again, 49 source files because there's probably a test file in here. Yeah, okay, that's why. And go to definition on effect. It's going to work. Yes, that works. It's good. Now let's try to set the force user globs thingy. So set key PCIDE force user globs, and we'll set that to true. Okay, and now let's start this thing up again, and now we should only get 2 source files, right? That's source and test. So that works fine. That's good. So now back to nil. That worked. Really, I don't think there's much more that we need to do here. Well, we need to document all we changed, but I think the code works. Let's go into change log. So what day do we have? 18-09-29. Automatically detects PC package projects and sets glob accordingly. There's a let's just think about all the things that changed. So PC IDE source globs, I think it's source globs. I did now only specify user non-dependency source files. It's defaulted to source /starter/starters. And let's do that. And this is Lisp, so we don't do commas. Okay. That's one of the things. The plugin will now detect PSC package projects and call PSC package sources as appropriate to determine what source globs pass to the editor. A new PCIDE force user globs variable was introduced to override the new behavior and force the user specified globs. All right. So I think that's a decent change log for the stuff we did. To make sure that's true, source globs, we set these properly. Okay, so that looks good. Now, I think there's a readme in here, which, I mean, that obviously there's one, but I think there's stuff here which we're going to need to change as well. There's something about source globs here. I'm going to do this. If your source files are not captured by default glob, you can add the locals file to the root project, like so. I'm going to set the test. I'm going to set the test thing in here as well. And I'm going to do a thing where I also set like examples, so people know what to do, essentially. Modify the globs accordingly. Don't worry about dependencies. About with dependency globs for Bower or PureScript's projects. And don't worry about dependency globs for those. Pigs these up by default. Check the doc string for PC IDE source globs. Oops. For box settings. Okay. I'm not actually sure if we should move this up somewhere. I mean, I should totally update these. I should totally update these GIFs as well. I'm not going to bother with that right now. I think this is a decent enough like introduction. Does it say anything about Bower? Yeah, that's a bit I just added. That's a bit I just added. So I think that's good. I think that's a decent, like, I think that works. I'm gonna make this. I think I'm happy with this. So let's just say, let's go here. So. Damn it, commit messages. So what did we do? We did a few things here, right? Let's maybe do this in smaller steps. Let's not do everything at once. Let's do the documentation in the second step. Let's say. Actually, that's silly. It's one change. Okay. So handle both Bower and PSC package projects. Add somewhat changes some configuration options to fit with the new it starts on the server and documents accordingly. So let's push this. All right. I think that's good. So let's see. Interesting. Huh. Okay, so I think that's that. I'm gonna have to wait for some feedback from Justin, just to see if this works for him as well. If it does, I'm gonna merge this and release it as a new version. But I think that's gonna be that for now. Did I take out the to-do? I probably didn't. Yes, I did. Okay, that's good. I probably don't need that new line, but whatever. Oh, that looks good to me. Okay, so I'll stop here. I hope this was interesting, useful to some of you. I'm hoping I can do this a little more regularly in the future. I'll set up if this sound was a little bad, I'm sorry. I haven't set up the microphone properly yet, so I'm using the webcam microphone. But I'll improve that in future. In future streams, and if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see or like to have me talk about, please let me know. Great. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.